Good morning. Happy Wednesday. So, yeah, it's been a couple days. You didn't miss much that I've been doing because there really hasn't been a whole lot happening. Today I'm on my way to my doctor again. If you're new here, I see a doctor at the Department of Internal Medicine at Hershey Medical Center, which is part of Penn State. And I have a nodule in my right lung. It gets monitored. I have to get blood work done very regularly, and I see him just for general health in between CAT scans for my lung. So today is just a general follow-up. I had some blood work done last time I was there. I already know my results. Everything is good except my HbA1c, 1AC, A1C, I think it is, HbA1c, which monitors your glucose levels over the previous 3 months. So let me get the car one more minute. It's cold, so I'm letting the car warm up a little bit before I leave. So normally when I get my blood work done, my sugars have always been great. I have insulin resistance, which, if you do your research, I also had PCOS, PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome is the long term, and it's all part of a condition known as metabolic syndrome. So I've been through 2 hysterectomies, half my parts 12 years ago, the other half of my parts a year ago. So I no longer have the ovaries, so they technically really can't classify me as having PCOS anymore, but it's still part of that metabolic syndrome, which also includes the insulin resistance, meaning my body is producing 3 times the amount of insulin as a normal person in order to keep my glucose levels maintained normal. And I was told, this was diagnosed, my goodness, 15, 20 years ago. And then I was told at that time that what's going to happen is my pancreas is going to wear out from having to produce so much insulin, and I'll go the other way, meaning it's not going to be able to produce as much insulin anymore, and then I will become a diabetic because the insulin won't be there to regulate the glucose. So this last set of blood work was the first time in my history that my HbA1c is up. So my body is nearing that point. So yes, I've had to alter my eating a little bit, and you have seen that. Even before this last set of blood tests, it was weird because I decided to start cutting back on some of the carbs. So maybe it's my body knew and told me that it's time to do this, and then of course the blood work confirmed it. So you will see differences in what I put on my plate at dinner time. And of course you don't see what I drink and stuff like that, but I've switched to mostly water. I'll have 1 small glass of iced tea, not every day, but most days. And normally I would have drank 4 big glasses of iced tea every day. Now I make my own iced tea, and it's not heavily sweetened. It just has a little bit of sugar in order for it to get rid of the bitter taste of the plain iced tea. But still, you know, the little bit several times a day adds up to a significant amount. So I am on drugs for this. He put me on metformin. So hopefully, I don't know if he's going to run more blood work again. We'll see what he tells me today, so I'll tell you when I'm done. But that's the plan as of right now. I'm just heading to the doctor, and I got to figure out dinner because I didn't do a meal plan this week. I'm not going to try to film and talk all at the same time. I'll get back to you later with some more details. So, out of the doctor's, and I had to go for another test, this time to check my thyroid. So I just went and had that done, simple blood test. Stopped at one of the local family-owned grocery stores to pick up 3 things: a rotisserie chicken, and they had blueberries buy one get one free, and they looked good, and I needed 3 Roma tomatoes for tonight's dinner. So I'm not real pleased with my appointment. I shouldn't say that. It could have been worse. I was telling you before I went in about the HbA1c. Apparently the perfect, in order for that to be good, the level needs to be below a 7.0, preferably a 6.5. Mine came back as a 7.2 with that last set of blood work I did several weeks ago. Technically, I have to classify myself as a diabetic at this point. That shit's not going to work with me. I am so not dealing with that. Nope, that is not going to be a lifetime diagnosis. Not happening. I'm kind of pissed at myself at the moment, and I know it's not all my fault. You know, dealing with the metabolic syndrome and the insulin resistance, I knew it was a matter of time until the pancreas started to slow up, and that's where I'm at the moment. My pancreas is wearing out, but I can still fix this with diet control. I am on a medicine, like I said, the metformin, which will help. I will get those numbers checked again in 3 months. So my appointment is June 7th, so I go back and get blood work done the end of May, a week prior to my visit. And now that HbA1c, they will check again, which again is your glucose levels for 3 months. I feel bad not looking at you guys, but I'm trying to drive, which I feel bad when I put sunglasses on, but I'm almost to the point where it's getting hard to drive without them. Anyway, so I'm going to control this with diet. And like I said, you're probably going to see some changes in my meals, which you may have already, where we've really cut back on the carbs, and I've really cut back on any kind of sugars that I'm eating. It's not that I'm avoiding sugar altogether, but when I do, it's small quantities. I've had to cut back on my portions. So again, you're just going to probably see a lot of changes, but they're going to have to be slow, because I know if I try to change everything all at once, I won't stick to this. I'm down, according to the doctor, 7 pounds from my last visit a few weeks ago. On my scale at home, because with the doctor, it's always either later in the day, or, you know, it's been winter time and I've had heavier clothes on. When I started weighing myself a little before that, I always weigh myself consistently first thing in the morning with no clothes on. And I'm actually showing down 9 pounds. So I don't want to go strictly by numbers on the scale. But, you know, that's obviously one way to measure progress, is by numbers on the scale. Another way is clothing, and just how I feel, my overall feeling. I'm not fatigued. I don't have bad, healthy feelings. Does that make sense? Like, I feel good. So that's a good thing. So anyway, that's kind of all I have to report. So I'll know the results of the thyroid test probably later tonight. It'll show up on my online health profile, my portal through the hospital. So hopefully no issues with the thyroid. That's it for right now. So I will come back to you when I get home. I'm starving. I had one of those Kind grain bars for breakfast with my hot tea, and yeah, I need more food. It's now, I had that at 8 o'clock this morning. It's now 10 after 11, and I've had nothing since. So I'm famished. Let's get home and get some food and let my puppy out. Someone is thankful that I'm home, aren't you? Are you happy mommy's home? Are you? You just want food because you smell it. All right, lunch. Lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, a little bit of Munster cheese, and some sliced rotisserie chicken, and some pumpkin seeds. I'm going to use some French dressing on it, although once this is gone, I can't buy this anymore. This is actually a dressing that is high in sugars. 6 grams of sugars in here as opposed to some of the vinegar and oil based. So again, I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to eat it up. But then that'll be it for the French for me. And the puppy's going to have a couple pieces of rotisserie chicken. I forgot what else I wanted to tell you or show you. Several of the people that I subscribe to on YouTube, they go to thrift stores and they get some awesome finds. Like some of the stuff y'all are finding at thrift stores amazes me. We have one close to us. It's a Salvation Army. It is not real great. I don't live in an area where there's a lot of wealth, to put it nicely. So the stuff that's being dropped off there, you know, I'm not finding the designer name clothing like some of you are. The furniture is, whoa, bad. Like, yeah, it's bad. I mean, it's just, I've been there off and on. When I say I've been there, let me see. I've been back here in York for a year. I've been there twice this year, in the last year. But I popped in the other day before I bought that cube organizer for my spare bedroom. I was looking for maybe a smaller table to sit right inside the door there. So I'd stopped in. Of course, I didn't find anything as far as furniture goes, but I found 3 shirts, and I'm wearing one of them now. I don't know how, I'm not good with the distance thing about how much you can see, but it is a Chico's brand shirt. It is shades of brown, pink, and an ivory color. I like it. And the day I was in, clothing was half price. And apparently they do that once a week, so it was regularly $5.99, so I got it for $3. So I can't complain. Yeah, I found something, and I found 2 more short sleeves for the spring and summer. So I'll show them to you when I wear them. So that's it. I'll be back. Okay, I took that leftover stuffed pepper and chopped it up and warmed it up. And we had the rotisserie chicken, 2 different size shells, flour and corn, and all the fixins to make our own soft tacos. Hey, me again. So I wanted to come back on here one more time before I go get ready for bed for the night. And tell you that it's been, I don't want to say a rough evening. It's actually been a really good evening. This has been a little bit of a wake-up call for me. Like, I always knew in the back of my mind that this was a possibility. But I kept thinking that I wasn't going to have to deal with it till I was much older. Well, I am 47, so how much older did I expect to be before the D word was used? So, I called Mike on the way home from the doctor's and told him everything. And you guys don't know Mike very well. He doesn't come on camera a whole lot. And when he does, he's very backwards. He's just a very bashful guy. He doesn't ever like to be the center of attention. But he's a good guy, and he supports me in everything I've ever done, and he just loves me to death, and I know that. And if you remember, he actually started, he wanted to lose weight himself long before all this happened. It's after 10 o'clock. I need to go to bed. So, and I had mentioned in previous videos that typical man, you know, he said, I want to lose 20 pounds, and he lost 20 pounds just like that. It's just, it's easier for men. We know that. So anyway, he's not exactly where he wants to be weight-wise, even though he looks freaking good where he's at now. But when I told him everything that the doctor said today, he really didn't say much on the phone. You know, he couldn't because he was at work, and it was bad enough that I interrupted him and didn't even wait till his lunch break. But then when he come home tonight, it was right after he was home from work. He says that he has no problem eating exactly the way I need to eat because he's not exactly where he wants to be either. And I really appreciated the fact that he brought it up without me even starting the conversation. Because as a wife, and even as a mom, I know this may sound weird, but maybe y'all have struggled with this yourself. I feel like the sign of a good wife is one who can put an amazing meal on the table every night for her husband and or family. I don't know where I got that mentality from. My mom didn't think like that. Like I said, when I was growing up, the meals weren't elaborate that I had to eat as a kid. My grandmother, on the other hand, my mom's mom, I spent a lot of time with her in my early years. And then even as I got to be an older child and a teenager, we were at my grandparents' house every weekend. And she had that mentality that when the family came home, you put a mess of food out on the table. And I told Mike, I said, I'm going to struggle with feelings of failure because I feel like, again, that he needs this massive meal on the table every night. And he's definitely encouraged me more than once and told me that I didn't need to do that and I need to get out of that way of thinking. So I think that's going to be my biggest struggle. Like tonight, you saw what we had. It was make your own tacos, kind of, with the meat that I had and the veggies. I feel like I needed to make some kind of rice with it and have chips and salsa with it. I did get the chips and salsa out. I ate 2 or 3 chips. And normally I would eat like a fiend with chips and salsa because I love my homemade salsa. You give me a bag of chips and my homemade salsa and a movie. But for some reason, it just didn't taste good to me tonight. And maybe that's a mental block that I have, that I know I shouldn't consume a ton of that stuff. So I'm rambling on, exhausted, to say that I'm just going to ask that my viewers, my subscribers, be kind to me. Again, my label of having diabetes is not, I'm just borderline. It's not a severe case. It's something that I can easily fix according to the doctor because I am like just at that line. I don't have to, because of that, I don't have to never consume another granule of sugar the rest of my life. So if you do see me on camera eating something that you may consider forbidden for a diabetic, just please understand that even though I have that label, my body's still making insulin. I'm not taking insulin, and I am allowed to treat myself every once in a while. Do I want to screw up on a daily basis? Absolutely not. Or that level that I'm at is going to go way up here. But I'm just asking because I know people can be cruel. I really haven't had it on my channel, but I have seen it on other people's channels, that the larger you get with the YouTube community, the more people that you have viewing your videos, you're going to get those Debbie Downers in there that just want to take a jab at you. So I'm just going to ask that y'all be nice to me. Because this is going to be quite an adjustment for someone like me who loves to cook. I don't want to lose my joy of cooking. I just need to love to cook differently. So it's going to be a learning process for me. Maybe a learning process for all of us, so I don't want to lose any of you. But yeah, just hang in there. You know, I'm still going to post regularly. It just may be changed up a little bit. You're probably not going to see the large, massive grocery hauls unless I go to Costco, which is on the agenda for tomorrow. I need to do a Costco run. So that is my plan. Tomorrow I will go to Costco and do a Costco haul. But that grocery haul for my local grocery store, I'm probably not going to do that anymore. I live literally, I checked it on the car, 1.8 miles from my grocery store. So I will do my big Costco hauls, and I will fill in here and there for my local grocery store, but it's not going to be a big haul. Like today, I stopped for that rotisserie chicken and bought tomatoes and blueberries. That was it. So I may be doing that for a while, just till I get adjusted and come up with the different types of meals that I'm going to make through the week as opposed to on the weekends. So yeah, just bear with me, and this is an adventure for all of us. So yeah, I guess that's it for the night. I'm going to take a shower and head to bed. So I hope you all had a fabulous day, and I will see you tomorrow with a Costco haul. Good night.